The movie based on Mercedes Ron's novel Our Fault opens with Noah in an airport heading to her friend Jenna's wedding in Ibiza. She bumps into a handsome stranger Simon spilling chocolate on his coffee-colored pants. They flirt briefly with Simon giving her his number, but Noah is picked up by her future brother-in-law Lion and the conversation is cut short. Noah arrives in Ibiza and is immediately caught up in the chaotic high-energy environment of Jenna's wedding preparations. Jenna, Noah's best friend, is marrying Lion. Noah is surprised to learn she's been unexpectedly promoted from bridesmaid to maid of honor, a position that puts her in close proximity to the best man who turns out to be Lion's older brother Nick. Noah and Nick have a turbulent sexually charged history. Noah sees Simon again at the pre-wedding Ibiza party where he reminds her she never called him back. She learns he is also Lion's brother, making him Nick's other brother, which complicates matters further. Nick is clearly still hurt by their past, making a sarcastic comment about their relationship history. The rehearsal dinner and the wedding itself are rife with tension between Noah and Nick, who are forced to walk down the aisle together as honor attendants. At the reception, a suggestive song plays that reflects their unresolved feelings and they share charged glances. A scene from the past shows Noah visiting a cemetery, finding a note left for her by Nick that reads, "I will always be your light in the darkness." When they later speak, Noah tells him she sees him with him, implying another love interest, while Nick is tormented, saying he sees her with him too when he closes his eyes. Noah is shown graduating college and later facing difficulties finding a new job. She is fired from a mental health counseling position after her past is revealed. She was dismissed from her university job for sleeping with a student, Michael. The focus shifts to the London corporate world. Simon, a successful but seemingly ruthless businessman, is dealing with the repercussions of closing an emblematic Spanish company, leading to worker protests. He is under pressure from his board to turn a profit and manage public relations. Simon runs an innovative tech company focused on the metaverse. He and Noah cross paths again when Noah interviews for a job at his company. She is hired as a systems assistant, though her real talent is in creative work and strategic planning, something Simon quickly recognizes. Simon, who is running for office, suggests that he and his current more formal partner Sophia should formalize their relationship for his image, implying a strategic benefit for both of them. Meanwhile, Noah and Simon begin to grow closer. They have a dinner date where they both admit they want to take things slow, though the underlying attraction is palpable. The professional and personal lives of Noah and Nick collide when Nick buys shares in Simon's company and confronts Noah in the office. He is furious to learn that Noah is now working for his stepbrother and is even the author of the company's strategic plan. Nick demands coffee, treating her dismissively, which solidifies his Mr. Scrooge nickname among the staff. Simon and Sophia leak their love story to the tabloids for strategic purposes, much to Nick's surprise. The drama escalates when Noah runs into Michael, her former professor and lover, who is visibly distressed and tells her to leave him alone and not tell his brother, implying Nick is Michael's brother and she's fucking up his life. Later, Sophia, now Nick's lawyer, calls Noah to discuss Michael, whom she calls a bastard, revealing that she may have pulled some strings in the past to help him. Noah vehemently defends Michael, asking Sophia to leave him alone. Nick's mother Maggie arrives and Nick is resistant to speaking with her, pushing her off on Noah. Maggie eventually reveals to Nick that she has leukemia and doesn't have much time left. She tells him that she and his father William have signed papers giving William custody of her daughter, also named Maggie, a fact that Nick is only now learning about. This revelation is a heavy blow for Nick. Maggie is immediately called away for urgent surgery, leaving the young Maggie with Nick. Overwhelmed and in emotional turmoil, Nick seeks comfort from Noah, but she refuses to spend the night with him, saying it will only make things worse. Simon, sensing the situation with Nick, institutes a company rule strictly forbidding fraternization between employees, a transparent attempt to separate Noah and Nick. Nick confronts Noah about her relationship with Simon, accusing her of having no feelings for him. Noah defends herself, pointing out that Nick is with Sophia. He reveals he only took Sophia as a formal partner for show and his feelings for Noah are still very much alive. The intensity of their confrontation leads to Noah's immediate resignation to end the conflict, but Nick refuses to accept it, saying she cannot stop seeing him. The story flashes forward to Noah's life in London after the wedding. She is struggling to find work after being fired from a university job for a past relationship with a student, Michael. Meanwhile, Simon is revealed to be a wealthy and ambitious businessman, the Leicester heir, facing worker protests after closing a Spanish company. Nick is also deeply involved in the corporate world, managing his family's vast empire. Noah interviews for and gets a job at Simon's tech company. Simon, focused on his political image, suggests a formal relationship with his current partner Sophia for the sake of his campaign. Despite this, Simon and Noah are attracted to each other and begin dating, albeit slowly. The conflict intensifies when Nick buys shares in Simon's company, placing him in a position of power over Noah, whom he treats with dismissive disdain, demanding coffee and belittling her role as a systems assistant while acknowledging her superior strategic planning skills. The tension is momentarily overshadowed by a personal tragedy. Nick's estranged mother Maggie unexpectedly appears and reveals she has leukemia. She also discloses that she's arranged for Nick's father William to take custody of her young daughter, also named Maggie, a child Nick never knew was his half-sister. Nick is left reeling by his mother's death and his sudden role as the child's guardian. In his grief, he seeks solace from Noah, but she refuses to sleep with him, insisting their relationship must remain in the past. Simon, seeing the connection between Noah and Nick, attempts to legally separate them by implementing a strict non-fraternization rule at his company, a move Nick criticizes as overly controlling. Noah chooses to resign rather than be forced apart, leading to a heated confrontation where Nick's unresolved feelings and resentment towards her and his family are laid bare. The movie reaches a dramatic crescendo when Noah, feeling unwell, visits a doctor. The doctor informs her she is 16 weeks pregnant, a fact Noah was unaware of, having mistaken the bleeding from an intrauterine hematoma for menstruation. Noah confides in her best friend Jenna, making her swear not to tell Nick, who she assumes is the father. Word of the pregnancy leaks and Simon is informed about Noah's high-risk pregnancy. Michael, Noah's former lover who now works at the hospital, accesses her medical records and knows the truth. Sophia, realizing Nick's emotional attachment to Noah, tells him to let go of his resentment towards his family and forgive Noah, urging him to pursue her before it's too late. She tells him that Noah is the only one who needs him right now. Noah, meanwhile, is packing to leave the city to stay with an aunt in Santander, intending not to return. As she's leaving, Nick and Lion arrive. Nick, having heard about the pregnancy, is ready to fight for her, even declaring he doesn't care if the baby is Simon's, promising to love it as his own. Noah finally reveals the truth: the baby is Nick's. Nick is overwhelmed with joy, but his excitement is cut short as he loses control of the car, having an accident. He falls into a coma. The film skips forward to show Noah giving birth and raising their son while Nick is still comatose. Finally, Nick wakes up fully recovered and healed from his emotional burdens. He finds his son perfect and his life with Noah complete, proposing to her with a ring that includes a little detail in the middle for their son. The happy moment is shattered when Briar, Michael's mother, appears at the house intending to take the baby. Briar, still harboring intense resentment from the way Nick's corporate actions affected her son's job and her own life, attempts to enact revenge, stating a son for a son. Nick, newly recovered, fights her off, saving Noah and their baby. The final scene shows Noah and Nick, now happily married, driving off on a motor scooter toward a waterfall for their honeymoon, a callback to a joke about Lion and Jenna's honeymoon fantasy. The narrator concludes, "Everything that will happen from now on will be your fault, and mine." Back in London, the complexity of Noah's life comes into sharp focus. She struggles to rebuild her career after a past scandal involving a professor Michael led to her being fired from a university job. Ironically, the corporate world brings her back to the Leicester family. She takes a job at Simon's innovative tech company, where her keen intellect is immediately noticed. Simon, the ambitious Leicester heir, is navigating a PR crisis stemming from layoffs at a family company, all while planning a strategic image-boosting political run. For this, he maintains a formal, calculated public relationship with his partner Sophia. Meanwhile, Noah and Simon begin a tentative slow-burn romance, seemingly a safe harbor from her emotional past. The fragile new dynamic shatters when Nick buys a significant stake in Simon's company, instantly becoming Noah's effective boss. His antagonism returns full force and he uses his position to belittle her, though he can't ignore her undeniable talent. The office becomes a war zone, with Nick's Mr. Scrooge persona on full display, contrasted with Simon's efforts to keep their personal lives separate. This volatile period is punctuated by a personal crisis. Nick's estranged mother Maggie dies of leukemia, but not before revealing she gave up custody of his young half-sister, also named Maggie, to their father, leaving the child in Nick's care. The shock and grief of these events break through Nick's emotional armor, making him desperate for Noah's comfort, which she consciously denies him, convinced they must finally end their cycle of toxic attraction. Simon attempts to solve the problem by implementing a strict non-fraternization policy, a transparent effort to drive Nick away. This move, however, backfires, prompting Noah to resign to escape the toxic atmosphere. In a climactic confrontation, Nick refuses to accept her departure. The argument lays bare the core of their issues: Nick's self-destructive resentment of his father and family, which he projects onto Noah, preventing him from ever truly forgiving her and moving on. The entire personal landscape is violently shifted when Noah discovers she is 16 weeks pregnant, a fact she had no idea about. She instantly assumes the father is Nick and resolves to keep the secret and leave the city to start a new life. However, the truth begins to unravel. Sophia, in an act of surprising grace and compassion, confronts Nick, urging him to drop his pride and accept that his greatest source of pain is also his greatest connection, Noah. She tells him to stop punishing everyone and go after the woman he truly loves. Nick, finally taking Sophia's words to heart, races after Noah just as she is leaving. The tension is broken when Nick declares his love and his acceptance of the baby, even under the mistaken belief it's Simon's. Noah is finally forced to blurt out the truth: the baby is his. Overwhelmed by the news, Nick is momentarily distracted and gets into a severe car accident, falling into a coma. The story jumps forward, showing Noah carrying the pregnancy to term, giving birth to their son and lovingly raising him while remaining by Nick's bedside. When Nick finally awakens, he is a changed man, his emotional wounds seemingly healed. He proposes to Noah, and their family unity is threatened once more by Briar, Michael's mother, who, seeking revenge for her son's ruin, attempts to kidnap the baby. Nick's heroic defense of his family ends the threat for good. The story closes with the couple's wedding and a playful drive towards the waterfall destination, finally setting off on a new shared path, accepting that their intense, complex, and dramatic love is simply our fault. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.